Okay, so my name is Andrea and I work at the International Recruitment Office. So a part of my job consists on helping international students with their applications, any questions they have. Um, at the end of the session, I'm also going to leave my email address there. So if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. So today we're going to be talking about how to fund your studies, especially your master's. Here in the screen, we can see a few of the things you must take into account when considering like finances for your master's. So you will have to think about the tuition fees, so the cost of the course itself. Then also about living costs. Are you going to be staying in accommodation? Private housing in the city, but that's another cost you will have to think about. Then also the visa application, very important. You'll have to set aside some money for that. Then flight tickets to the UK and then from the UK back to your home country. Other costs as well. So any shopping you might want to do, eating out, traveling around the country. That's also some like bits that you need to consider and kind of like budget that as well. And optional costs, maybe the graduate route visa costs after graduating if you're planning on doing that or you have the option of doing that. So we're going to start off by talking a bit about scholarships and opportunities you may have here at Leicester. So first of all, we have the university scholarships, which we're going to be talking about a bit more in the next slides. But then there's also some external bodies like the British Council that may offer you kind of like the opportunity to fund your studies. So they usually require an application, an interview, and kind of like other, like the application process might be a bit long, so it's worth you checking their websites so you can see the full kind of like requirements, eligibility criteria. And you should also take into account that some of them will only cover tuition fees, but others will also cover living expenses. So also worth having a look at their pages to kind of like have that in mind and be clear about it. And then you may also have the option of government or private loans from your home country, but that's also up to you to kind of like do the research and see if you would be eligible for those from your kind of like home countries. However, here at Leicester, we do offer some scholarships. They are mainly merit scholarships, which means that you would need either a UK high upper second class degree or a first class degree minimum. So there is no need to apply for these scholarships. It's automatic. So when you submit your application, we will have a look at the grade you got in your undergraduate degree. And if it falls within kind of like these grades, we would automatically award you the scholarship. So the first one we have is the College of Science and Engineering Merit Scholarship. So this will include any courses, any postgraduate courses from the schools that we can see here at the bottom of the slide. So chemistry, engineering, informatics, mathematics, physics and astronomy, and geography, geology, and the environment. So there's plenty of courses within here. So yeah, these merit scholarships are a very, very good way to kind of like reduce your master's cost. So yeah, you can, if you click on the link, you will be able to see the full kind of like eligibility criteria. So you can find more information about this scholarship there. Second, we have the same type of scholarship, but this is for media communications and sociology. So the courses that would be available to kind of get these scholarships are any postgraduate courses from the School of Media, Communications and Sociology. Same here, you would need either a UK high upper second class degree or a first class degree equivalent to kind of like the UK grading. If you have the degree equivalent to a UK high upper second class degree, you would get £3,000 off your master's fees. If you have a UK first class degree or like the equivalent to it, you would get £5,000 off your kind of like course fees. You have the link there as well, so please go there to kind of like find the full eligibility criteria. Then we also have same type of scholarship, merit scholarship again. And this is for the School of Business. So any courses, any postgraduate courses within the School of Business would be kind of like eligible for this scholarship. Here, however, there's only the option of getting up to £3,000, which is still good. But yeah, this is School of Business Merit Scholarship. And then we also have same kind of like type of scholarship, merit scholarship again for law. So you can see that plenty of courses for our postgraduate programs offer these merit scholarships, which is a very, very good opportunity. So same as the first scholarships here, £3,000 off for the equivalent to a higher upper second class degree, and £5,000 off for a UK first class degree. Again, you have the link there, so you can refer to that for more information. Okay, so that was everything about merit scholarships, and now we have a couple of them that are a bit different. First off, we have the alumni discount. So this is basically if you've graduated from the University of Leicester for your undergraduate degree, you would have a 20% fee reduction for your postgraduate studies. For this scholarship, you don't need to apply either, so it would be automatically calculated. It's important to note, though, that this scholarship is only available for self-funding students. So yeah, this is quite a nice one to kind of like recognize the people that have studied here with us. So definitely recommend, if you're kind of like an alumni, having a look at this kind of like page as well. And then we also have a scholarship that's basically family loyalty discount. This would be 10% fee reduction of your postgraduate fees. There's a bit of kind of like important information to read here. So you must be the sibling, spouse, or child of someone who is either currently studying here at Leicester or that has graduated from Leicester from a full-time course. And the important thing as well is that this relative, they must also be classified as international student in terms of kind of like fees. And in this case, you do have to apply for this scholarship. You must complete a form and then email it to kind of like our student services team. If you go to that link, you will be able to kind of like find the link to the form that you would have to complete to apply for this scholarship. Okay, so that was all for scholarships. I'll come back to the kind of like chat box at the end to answer any questions that you may have popped there. And now we're going to be talking a bit about living costs. So here you can see a map. I don't know how big you can see it, but hopefully you can see it, about the cost of living in different UK cities, especially for students. So as you can see, the cost really varies on the kind of like location. Students at the University of Leicester should expect to spend around £196 per week. And that would include rent, so accommodation, weekly essentials such as food, and then a weekly bus pass and other personal expenses. So we have plenty of, in terms of accommodation, for example, we have plenty of options here at Leicester. You could go and kind of like book something privately, but you could also choose to stay with us in our own halls of residence. We have rooms starting from £70 a week, and then the most expensive would be around £196 per week. But it really depends on where you're going to want to go and what's your budget. But if you're really on a budget, we do have quite kind of like, I wouldn't say cheap, but like nice rooms for £70 a week, and then that still leaves you with quite a lot of money to spend on food and other kind of like weekly expenses. If we compare kind of like this cost of here at Leicester to other cities in the UK or other universities, for example, Warwick, Manchester, and Birmingham are among the most expensive. So their students there are paying around £255 and £300 per week. So you can see that Leicester is quite affordable compared to other university cities in the UK. So that's something nice, I guess, for students in a budget. The cost of living obviously will depend on your lifestyle. So it depends how much money per week you would spend in kind of like not essential things. But essential things to take into account are accommodation, utilities, then food, studying equipment that you may or may not need for your course, doing laundry, transportation. Although if you did choose to stay with us here at Leicester, we'll have a free shuttle bus that takes you from main campus to the halls of residence, so you wouldn't really need to take into account that transportation thing. That's one less worry, I guess. But still, if you wanted to take taxis anywhere in the city center, you would kind of have to think about that as well. Then not so important things, entertainment and socializing, shopping, if you want to travel around the country and go on little weekend holidays, and then mobile phone bills as well. However, we have plenty of student discounts available throughout the country, so it kind of makes it a bit easier to be a student, which is quite nice. So Leicester, as we've just seen on the map I've shown you, is one of the most affordable cities to study in the UK. It's ranked the third, actually. So again, here we can see all of the kind of different areas of expenses you would have if you studied here at Leicester. But yes, something to kind of consider when making the decision to join Leicester or another university is the fact that the affordability of the city. So you'd be happy to know that Leicester is quite a really affordable city. So here we've put together some tips on saving money. First of all, we have the rail card. So if you're planning on traveling a lot by train, which you might as well, like you're in the UK for a year, you will probably want to see as many places as you can. So I would definitely recommend getting the rail card. You basically pay around £30 for the rail card, but then throughout 1 year, you get a lot of discounts. So I think it's up to 30% per trip that you get. So you could go to London, return for £30, which is really not that bad. Or you can go to like little towns or cities near Leicester for just £10 return, which is really, really good. Then for your kind of like telephone bills, you would probably want to choose a kind of like pay as you go contract rather than a fixed contract. So you can add money whenever you want or cancel the contract whenever you want if you have to leave the country and go back home or whatever. And then there's also plenty of apps that offer you student discounts. And then also like in establishments and bars and shops. So I would recommend always bringing your student ID with you. So when you register and you enroll for our course, we'll give you a physical student ID card. So if you go shopping in the city center or you go to a bar, if you show them your student ID, they will probably give you around 10% discount, which might not seem like a lot, but when you can like start adding up, it actually really helps. And then some apps that I just mentioned are Unidays, Totum, Student Beans. You just register with your email address and then they give you student discounts for different shops, either online or kind of like physical shops, and then also restaurants, which is really, really helpful. Other important costs to think about is the visa application. Again, if you go to that link, you will see in more detail kind of like the breakdown of the costs. But kind of like a couple of important things to consider are, so international students, you guys need to demonstrate that you have enough money to support yourself while you are staying in the UK. So they ask for proof that you would have around £1,000 per month for up to 9 months for courses outside of London. So that would be Leicester, for example. And so they would ask for proof that you have a total of £9,207. That just to make sure that you will be able to kind of like maintain yourself here. And you must hold this money for at least 28 consecutive days. There's some nationalities that are exempt from this rule. Again, just check the government UK website and you will be able to see the full list of countries that do not need to kind of like meet this requirement. And then also important is the immigration health surcharge. That's £624 per year. So that's mainly kind of like to cover your kind of like it's not a medical insurance, but if you had to go to the doctors, book an appointment with the GP, so then you're kind of like contributing to the National Health Service, and you would be just fine to go there anytime. So that's also another cost that you will have to take into account when making the application for a postgraduate program. Okay, so after having talked about scholarships, cost of living, and other important costs, you would be pleased to know that there is the option of working part-time. So this would provide you with a bit of extra pocket money, not a lot, but kind of like enough as to kind of like have a nice style of living here whilst you are a student. So you can work part-time during your course, but there's some limitations. So tier 4 student visas, students with this visa are limited to working just 20 hours per week. But you can work any jobs. You can be a Starbucks barista, student ambassador here at the university with us. You can be a waitress or a waiter, work as a retail assistant at a shop. Really, there's not limitation in terms of the job you're doing, as long as it's no more than 20 hours per week. You can also choose to work a few jobs. You can be a waitress or a waiter, and then a student ambassador when there's open days here at Leicester. But again, as long as you don't kind of like go beyond 20 hours per week. And here you can see a little table with kind of like the minimum wage per hour by law, depending on your age, just for your reference, really. So just to make sure that your kind of like employer is paying you the right amount of money. So in your case, I'm guessing it would be either 21 to 22 or 23 and over for postgraduate students. So yeah, the minimum you would be paid would be £9.18 per hour. Okay, so here I have some important information for you in terms of application deadline for the masters, and then some kind of like payment informations. So the application deadline for most of our master's programs is the 21st of July 2023. It may vary depending on the course. Some courses may have a slightly earlier deadline or slightly later, but in general it's 21st of July. However, some of our courses, if they are very popular and they already have had a lot of applications, they may choose to close the application kind of like cycle earlier. So I would recommend not leaving it until the last minute, although it should be fine. But yeah, if you can apply a bit earlier than that, that would be great. So once you've applied and you've received either a conditional or an unconditional offer, in order to secure your place, you will have to pay a deposit of £3,000. And the deadline to do this is the 7th of August 2023. So yes, until you haven't paid the deposit, you can't really kind of like firm your choice. That means kind of like secure your place in the course, really. And then there's also another payment deadline, which is for the tuition fee. So you would have to pay 50% of your tuition fees by the 1st of September of this year. And the same deadline applies to the CAS request deadline. So CAS is the Certificate of Acceptance for Studies. So you would need to request that to us, and then we would provide you with the CAS, and then you can use that CAS kind of like reference number to apply for your visa. So please make a note of these deadlines because they are really, really important to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible, really. So in terms of payment methods for either deposit or tuition fees, you can do this by credit card or by bank transfer. And I'm going to give you more details about this on the next slide. And then if you're a sponsored student, that means that the sponsor is not a member of your family. There's no deposit required, but then you would need to send your sponsor letter to this email address here. So this means, for example, if you're kind of like the government at your home country is sponsoring your studies, so then you don't have to worry about deposit, but please make sure you send the sponsor letter to PG Admissions so we can kind of like process everything and make sure, again, everything goes as smoothly as possible. Okay, so payment methods. So you will be able to pay your tuition fees in a maximum of 2 installments. So the first installment will have to be before the 1st of September. That's what I've just told you in the previous slide. And that's at least 50% of your tuition fees. Again, before 1st of September, just a reminder. And then the remaining balance of your tuition fees would be due 3 months after the start of your course. So the two methods of payment, card payment, it takes around 48 hours to process the card payment. So if the deadline is the 1st of September, for example, please make sure that you actually make the payment. I would say at least 3 days before that, because even though even if you can like make the actual payment on the 1st of September, we may not receive that payment on our kind of like account on the 1st of September. So that would be as if you were paying late. So yeah, just make sure to give at least a couple of days margin if you're paying by card, to make sure that the money reaches us kind of like on time. There you have the link to pay with card. And then you can also choose to pay via bank transfer. Here in this case, the processing time, it's at least 10 working days. Recently, we're seeing that it takes up to 2 weeks minimum, although this may differ for different countries. So again, please make sure that you make the payment, kind of give enough time in between your actual bank transfer and the deadline, so there's no issues with the money reaching in time. And again, here you have the link where you can find the information to make the bank transfer. And both for the card payment and bank transfer, the process is very straightforward, but it's just important that you know your 9-digit student ID reference number, so you can include that in the payments, because that number is personal to you. No one else has the exact same number. So we will know that's definitely you who's making the payment, and we won't get confused with other taxsmiths or yeah. So that's it for payment methods. Okay, so here I've included kind of like screenshot of our global recruitment team. So we have team members all around the world. So I thought it would be useful perhaps for you to have our contact details in case, I don't know, if you're in Africa, you may want to contact Jules or Abigail. Or if you're in Southeast Asia and India, you may want to contact Vishnu. So if you're in one of these kind of like areas of the world, if you want to kind of like make a note of their contact details, perhaps that will be more useful to you, as they will be more familiar with, for example, bank transfers in Nigeria or in India. So yes, and me, for example, I'm based in the UK, so I look after international students within the UK. So if you're already in the UK, you're studying an undergraduate degree at another university in the UK, and you want to apply for a master's here at Leicester, please feel free to get in touch with me, and I'll be more than happy to help you. And yeah, I think that's everything from my presentation. Now we can answer any questions. Alicia?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Andrea. That was great. We have had some questions through, and I've posted quite a few links on the chat. So please do kind of take a look through our website. There's quite a lot of information there, but please do take some time to look through those links. They do contain a lot of details on there. So thank you so much, Andrea, for that presentation. We had a question come through about scholarships available for the School of Biological Sciences. I did have a quick look, and I don't believe we have got any specific ones, but it's definitely worth to keep checking the scholarships and discounts page online. It may be a case that some of our scholarships might cover different subjects, so it's kind of worth having a look. There aren't always just subject specific ones. So Andrea, do you know of any kind of other opportunities within biological sciences specifically? Don't worry if you don't.
I'm not too sure. I wouldn't say so. I've listed all the merit scholarships we have. So if it's, yeah, it would have been within the College of Science and Engineering, but I don't think biological sciences was in there.
No, so I think they would fall under our life sciences.
Yeah.
So, but do keep an eye out. There may be other scholarships, depending on where you're from. It may be a case, things like a Fulbright scholarship. I don't know if they have specific specific subjects that you might need to be studying, but it's worth having a look and taking a browse of that website. So that is there. I think it's one of the first links I've posted. So thank you for your question there. We did also have another question from Max. Because I'm an EU student who came to this university for an undergraduate course in September of 2021 after Brexit, and still had a chance to pay the fee as a home status student, I was wondering whether I would still be eligible or could be sponsored to pay the UK home fee instead of the international fee as an EU student. Did you perhaps have any ideas or thoughts on this question, Andrea?
So I believe we don't. So I think the first year after Brexit, we did keep the fees kind of like at the home fee level for European Union students, but I don't think we're doing that anymore. So I would say unless you have kind of like pre-settled status, I don't think you would be able to get funding from the UK government.
Yeah, I guess it definitely depends on that settled status.
Yeah.
Do you think it's probably worth getting in touch with the admissions team perhaps, or the fees and income team? Maybe they would be best placed. I can pop some of those details in the chat. I don't know if, Andrea, you have any other contacts that might be helpful in this case.
Yeah, I think maybe postgraduate admissions would know. Yeah, they are really helpful in terms of assessing students' fee kind of category.
So Max, I'm going to pop the PG admissions email address here. If you drop them an email with your inquiry for your status, then they can advise you best as well. So I just want to make sure, obviously, that that's correct. You've also read that there's a 20% discount for certain students who have graduated from the University of Leicester and are applying for another course. Yep, you're correct that that is the case. I was wondering whether this discount is applicable for a master's degree in psychology and a bachelor or master's degree in medicine. So I can send you to that specific page actually for information on our alumni discount. It's only available for certain master's programs, so it wouldn't be for that bachelor degree in medicine. Let me pull up the link for you. So our alumni discount is here, and if you're a self-financing student and have either completed an undergraduate degree or PGC at the University of Leicester, and then you'd be progressing onto a high level degree, there are some eligibility criteria for that, such as it's for taught degrees such as MAs, MScs, MRes or LLM, and also research degrees such as PhD or MPhil. So do take a look at that. There's a couple of eligibility criteria on there, but so the Bachelor of Medicine is technically a kind of integrated program, Max. So it actually doesn't fall under our eligibility criteria for this, in the same way that PGCE courses are not valid for this, or integrated programs such as the MChem, the MPhys, the MMath. So yeah, if it's an integrated program, it's not eligible. But there are lists online, so on that link I've just sent, that will be able to help you for that. It does look like, depending on whether it's an MA, an MSc or an MRes, if you are looking at one of those courses for psychology, then you would likely be just eligible for that discount. Again, PG admissions are the ones who you can contact for that, but it's worth saying that that scholarship is automatically calculated when you apply for your postgraduate course. So you don't need to do a separate application. It may just be a case that you want to check your eligibility with them. So I hope that helps. Fantastic. So I think that's kind of everything we've had on the chat. I will leave it open for a few more minutes if anybody does have any additional questions. In the meantime, I'll also pop some additional information on our slides as well. So if, Andrea, you're okay to stop sharing your screen. Thank you. Bear with me. Let me find my slides. Here we go. So yeah, please feel free to keep posting questions on whilst we have Andrea and myself here. We're able to help out. So please do pop any questions you've got there. But in case you were kind of wondering What else might be available? We do have a few remaining talks as part of our PG information series. So these will be running up until Friday of this week. We have our careers talk, so where will your masters take you, at 5 p.m. BST today, British summertime. We also have a PhD information session tomorrow at 3 p.m. British summertime. So please do feel free to join on and book onto those. If you scan this QR code, it will take you to our website to book onto those sessions. The career session is run by a career development service, so they may have the opportunity to talk about part-time work as well as the sort of opportunities that you may receive after your master's study. And then if you are thinking beyond your master's study about maybe doing a PhD or some further gaining some further qualifications, our PhD information session might be really useful for you as well. So head to our website to book onto those. They will also be on UniBuddy in the same platform as today. You are also able to sign up for updates on our website too. So as you scroll towards the bottom of our main postgraduate page, there will be a link to sign up for updates, and that will be able to provide you with information as to when our other events may be coming up, and when things like these sessions will be recorded and available for you to review. Something that we do have upcoming are our PG Spotlights series. These will be taking place in early June, so do keep an eye out for those. These are subject-specific pieces of content, and they talk about how the research at the University of Leicester underpins some of our master's courses. So do keep an eye out for those academic-led sessions. So I don't think we've had any additional questions come through on the chat, but please do feel free to kind of keep letting us know how you found the session. I will also put this on a screen as well. Bear with me a second. So yeah, just let us know how useful you found this session. Did you find out some new things today? And again, feel free to post any questions you've got in the chat as well. Andrea and I will be around for a little while longer, so please get in touch with us if you have got questions. I'll also reshare this link for the Menti poll, but you can capture the QR code on the screen or head to menti.com and type in the code on the screen, so 25623507, and it will just be one quick question just to let us know how useful this session was. That'd be great just to get a bit of feedback to let us know how you found it today. And thank you very much for joining our webinar. Andrea, thank you so much for your presentation. We really appreciate that. And so please do keep an eye out for this webinar to be made available, and do just keep in touch with the university. We have lots of teams and lots of members of staff on hand to kind of get in touch with, including our UniBuddy system, which I'll also pop the link for in the chat as well. This is where you can get in touch with current students at the University of Leicester who are already studying. It's a great source of information. You can find out a bit more about the city, how they're finding their course, and lots more information from them as well. You're able to contact members of staff too, so I'll pop that in there. You're able to filter by the level of study, the country or region that they're from, and the area of study as well. So you're able to talk to lots of current students on there, so please do get in touch with them. That's a really nice resource. That's a really good question. I'm going to see if I can find some details for that, but in terms of is there a contact for queries regarding CAS other than email, I'll see if I can find a contact number on there, so give me one moment and I'll see if I can put that on there. I'll have a look for you. So just in response to the question regarding information with an email address, I'm afraid. It's worth getting in touch with them. They'll be able to direct you to the right place. If you wanted a phone number, if you bear with me, this is not one for the direct international or team that can support you with CAS, but this is more of our general study inquiry, so they may be able to put you through to the right team. So I'll send that over to you there. And also the PG admissions email address as well. So I would say definitely email them, and if you wanted to, you could follow up with a call to the study, but the study app team may be able to help you with a number for them. Hopefully that helps. So we had another question. I know this question isn't regarding funding, but I just wanted to know how safe it is around the university. Andrea, how long have you lived in Leicester for? I mean, I've lived in Leicester for 8 years, so I've got a bit of an idea as well, but I wanted to maybe get some insight from you first.
Yeah, so this is my 5th year in Leicester. I actually did my undergraduate and my master's here at Leicester. So personally, I've felt really, really safe in Leicester. I would say because it's mainly a student city. We have two universities. We have Leicester and then a different university as well. So there's plenty of students everywhere. So you may be so when you're walking around campus, it's obviously really, really safe. We also have security 24/7 on campus and mainly in accommodation on our halls of residence. So if you did stay with us in our halls of residence, you would kind of like have 24/7 security, which is really reassuring, especially when you're moving away from home and you're in a kind of like new place. And then in terms of the city itself, because there's so many students, you may be walking around the city center and it's just like students everywhere, young people everywhere. So it kind of like gives you this feeling of, I don't know, safety. I've personally haven't had any issues here in Leicester, so I would say it's quite a safe city, really.
No, absolutely. I felt the same. So yeah, I did my undergraduate degree and also my PhD in Leicester, and yeah, I lived there for 8 years, mostly actually around the university campus and in the city centre. But definitely, halls of residence has fantastic security support. So if you are looking for that kind of more safety net when you first arrive, the university halls might be a good option. But yes, I did live in private rented accommodation as well around the city, and generally felt very safe. It's very much a community based city, so there's lots of different types of people from all walks of life, from all different countries, which is really nice as a campus, but also as a city. It's also worth saying that when you are on campus, we do have an app called Safe Zone, and that means that actually you can access security or first aid from any of our sort of campus locations or accommodation sites very quickly. It's just located through an app, and you can kind of just hit the button and they will kind of be able to see your location and come and help you if you need that support. So that's something that's really useful to have. Some of those cover some of the walking routes to and from the university as well, and various different sites. So lots of students are recommended to download that app when they are on campus. I think we may also have some additional kind of insight on our website, but from personal experience, it's always been very good. I've never had kind of any difficulties or any problems with Leicester. I've always found it quite safe. So thank you very much for your question as well. I know this is a funding session, but it's definitely good to ask those questions while you have the opportunity to. So if anyone else has any additional things they'd like to ask, please just pop them on the chat. So here we go. I found a bit of information about our Safe Zone app, so I'll post that on there just if that's helpful for you. It's quite a helpful piece of kit. But there's lots under those sections. So actually, it's worth saying that a lot of our student support provision is available for postgraduate students just as much as it is for undergraduate students. So it covers kind of both branches. So don't feel that if you were coming for postgraduate study, you wouldn't be considered. You still are for lots of the university facilities and events as well. So super. So please do take a moment to fill in our feedback poll using the Menti code on the screen. But if there are no kind of further questions, I'll thank Andrea again for her time, and I will stop sharing my screen as well. And yeah, thank you very much. Please do keep sort of contacting with the university, keep up to date with the things that are ongoing, and let us know if you kind of need any additional support as well. We are here to help. So thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully see you at one of our upcoming webinars either this afternoon or tomorrow as well. So thank you very much.
Bye.